Soulmates. This is the topic I've been looking forward to talking to you about, and after having a bit of an exchange with someone about the soulmates, and the girl who said to me that she doesn't believe that, so she basically went through a breakup and she couldn't believe that she can find another soulmate and there is more than one soulmate available. So that's what I told her, but she was like, I find this hard to believe. I never had this connection before. So I've decided to finally share with you what this whole soulmate attraction is about and who are soulmates. So there are actually a few different types of soulmates per se, and some people explain them in different ways, but essentially, I'll just give you what I know and my understanding around it, and then you can decide for yourself what you feel intuitively pulled towards that you want to believe. So, who are soulmates? Soulmates are, they literally, that's what they are. They're soul. They're different souls, just like each of us. Each of us is a separate soul. They're soul, but they're your mate. And essentially, you've met them in your previous lives. So, majority of us, we would have several lives. This is not our first life, and I hope that if you're watching this, obviously you're a spiritual being and you believe in reincarnation. So we would meet these different souls in different lives, and because we had that bond before or some sort of interaction, whatever interaction we had previously, we have exchange of energy and exchange of information in the past, in our past lives. So we become soulmates. And obviously there is a very different amount of information that you share with each soul. So for example, if right now you meet someone on your way to work, let's say, or wherever, you go to the store and you cross paths with someone, you start talking to somebody, it will be a very brief connection, right? So this connection will register with your soul, obviously, because we exchange information and energy all the time. It's just something that we cannot do anything about. So their energy will imprint on yours on theirs, and you'll have this exchange of information. And they will become recognizable on one level or another, but it's not exactly the same as if you meet someone and you create a bond. And these soulmates are the ones who matter. So depending on how many lives you've had in the past, obviously you had certain relationships. You had soul relationships, you had community relationships, you've had your love relationships, which obviously is the most important one on this channel, your love relationships. And if you had, let's say you've been married to someone in the past, and if you had like 10 lives, 20, 100 lives, imagine each of those lives, whoever was your partner, they became your soulmates because you've had that physical connection with them in the past. You had intellectual or whatever connection. So you if you lived a lifetime with someone, you have created this bond, and you have exchanged a lot of energy and a lot of information, and you got physical, right? So the way you recognize them in your next lives is just very different to someone you just met and you getting to know them. I hope you understand what I mean. So some of these people you might have met for several lives. So imagine if you've been with one soulmate, let's say you had 100 lives, I'm not even going to go into thousands, but if you had a life, well, 100 lives, out of this 100 lives, let's say 5, you've met the same person and you bonded and you were married to each other. So imagine, just try to imagine, okay, it's unimaginable obviously, but just try to imagine what kind of connection you would have create with this person. I mean, the bond that you have, you literally will be so drawn towards each other. It's unimaginable, right? So this will be like one of your like top soulmates who you feel like you really really know them. You will recognize each other instantly. You will be drawn to each other like crazy. But you can have more than one, because we don't know how many lives you've had in the past, however many lives. So, if you're a spiritual being, you will also understand that we have different planes of existence, perhaps different planets, right? Or the different kind of zones of existence. I don't know what they are in reality, but whatever it is, imagine if you weren't soulmates or connections just on this plane, but you were on these other planes and you met here, then you have a totally different experience, because on top of the physical attraction and connection and intellectual, it also becomes spiritual, because the way they perceive life is very different, and it'll be the way you perceive life. So this just becomes a different experience. And then you have your karmic soulmates. When you have a karmic soulmate, it's someone that you have had some sort of contract. So you would probably already know that a lot of us come by the contract to this existence. Not everyone, but a lot of us come through a contract. So we decide what kind of life we're going to lead. And then we have these connections that we need to resolve our karmic connection with. So, whatever we've gone through in the past, now we need to resolve it. Obviously, it's hard to kind of give you the exact example, but let's say you are with someone married, and let's say they cheated on you. So in this life you need to meet again, and now, or it will be reversed, you have to forgive them, or they will suffer one way or another. So there will be this karmic thing between the two of you. And obviously not all soulmate connections will be karmic ones. And of course, there is a twin flame connection, which is also a soulmate type of connection. But it is widely believed that twin flame is basically like your soul cut in two and you become two parts of the same thing. I do not believe in it that way. As far as I'm aware, each soul is absolutely complete as is, but there is this twin flame connection where you are like two parts, you feel like you're two parts of the same thing. You're still not the same though, right? Because let's say you're man woman, you're two different entities. So but because of the type of connection that exists between twin flames, it is believed that you're kind of the same. So what happens with twin flame connections, they're a bit different, and the connection that you have, the attachment, and also the way you evolve in this life, it just comes up very differently. You're still insanely drawn to each other. You feel like, I mean, you can finish each other's sentences. You feel like you're on the same wavelength. You think the same things. You do the same things. You just like, you feel like you literally like the same thing. Everything is the same, and they're called usually twin flame connections. The thing with them also, why I don't believe it's exactly the same, because you can actually be on different levels of vibration. You can be on different levels of evolution, and for me that means that you actually aren't really exactly the same. If you know what I mean, you would kind of, you would have that connection, but it's not totally the same. I hope it makes sense. But this is another type of soulmate connection. And I don't think it exactly matters which one you meet. The most important part is that when you meet them, you will recognize them. And it will be out of this world. And what I really want you to take out of this, you do have more than one soulmate. And on top of it, you have a free will. You have your free will, and even if you met your soulmate, one of you can choose not to be together. One of you can choose not to work through karmic relationship, not to entertain it in this lifetime, because you don't remember what happened in the past. So one of you can say, hey, no, this is not for me, which means that your karmic connection will go into the next life and you'll have to resolve it in the future. So that is still a possibility that you might not resolve it. Um, but those are the basics, and a bit of, I hope it kind of helps you have a bit of a more understanding around the types of soulmate connections and why we have these soulmate connections, and why we have more than one. So you're in for a treat. The thing is, like, obviously, we don't know where they are scattered around the world and whether they are on this planet or somewhere else. But obviously, if there are so many, then you're very likely to meet some of them in this lifetime. If you have any questions, please comment below. Please reach out on any social media. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and help you in any way I can. If you have specific question, I could record the video, so please subscribe, comment, and I look forward to sharing more with you.